The project Green Skills Platform for Sustainable Employment Development is implemented under the Interreg 5A Romania-Hungary program and is financed by the European Union through the European Regional Development Fund, Romania and Hungary.
Alternative crop production methods, organic farming, greenhouses. The concept of sustainability. Agricultural production must be rational in its management of natural resources, while at the same time bringing economic sustainability to the environmental sustainability. The primary use of the natural landscape is agricultural, which means that the protection of the nature must be coordinated with agriculture. The success of agricultural activity is determined by the landscape and the characteristic of the place of the production, the existence and the condition of natural resources. The organic farming is not just a question of technology and certification, but also change of attitude. Organic farming tries to preserve most of the semi-natural elements from self-sustaining farming while making the produce line sustainable for the modern market economy. After all, organic agriculture maintains the health of the soil, the ecosystem. It is based on a natural ecological process, species diversity and local conditions. It combines tradition, innovation and science to benefit the common environment. Principle of organic farming: the health principle, the user ecological principle, the justice principle, the care principles. Other important principles: effort should be made to use own resources. The use of chemical produced substance should be strictly limited. Crop production and animal husbandry are land-related activities. Minimizing environmental pollution. Plant and animal health should be primarily preventive. Responsible use of energy. Transition to controlled organic farming. Step towards organic farming. Learn about the approach, philosophy and legal background of organic farming. Decide what kind of activity you want to do under controlled organic farming conditions. Apply for or sign a contract with an organic certification organization. The changeover time starts. Adhere to organic farming rules, but you can't label your product as organic yet. Production data management is important for control. Length and role of transition time. The role of conversion period is to clean the corpse, orchards and animal from chemicals and fertilizers that may have been used in previous farming practices. During this time, practical experience in farming can also be gained. Length of conversion period for plants. Conversion product between notification and reclassification. Field is 2 years. Grass perennial crops for forage utilization, example lucerne, 2 years. Perennials, for example grapes and fruits, 3 years. Mushrooms cultivation, harvesting wild plants, there is no conversion time. Length of conversion time in animals. Cattle, horses, buffalo meat is 12 months. Sheep, goat, pig meat and milk is 6 months. Poultry meat is 10 weeks. And poultry eggs, 6 weeks. Bees is 12 months. Parallel management. Immediate complete conversion, only organic farming after contract. Gradual transition, do not redeploy areas at once. Partial conversion, also known as parallel farming, only part of the area in use of organic farming, it remains traditional. What are the rules of parallel farming? The plant rule. There must be no hardly distinguishable variety. Animal rule. The same animal species cannot be ecological and traditional animals should be used in separate buildings and pens. How is it possible to distinguish between bio and non-bio farming? Separate areas. Physical separation with natural boundaries. In the absence of natural limit, statement. Physical defense, insulation. Field spraying 10 meter, fertilization 10 meter, aerial spraying 20 meter. Separate treatment, changeover again, rollover. Separation, technological separation, cleaning of standard cultivation equipment. Separate storage of eco and traditional products. The storage of production which are prohibited in organic farming is prohibited. Waiting for a warehouse to handle an illicit product still has to wait for contamination of the illicit substance to case 3 months. Spatial and or temporal separation during processing, GMO isolation, GMO area, minimum 10 km protection distance. GMO and traditional product propagating material may not be stored in the same establishment. GMO seeding and harvesting machinery cannot be used in organic farming in the current year. In case of accidental contamination with GMO, reflushing time if the contamination is removed. Rules to be observed in core production, which are also checked during the inspection. Presence of insulation risk, risk of rollover, plant order, core rotation seeds, propagating material, seedlings. Maintaining of soil fertility, stable manure, compost, butterfly cultivation, green manure, incorporation of plant residue into soil or use positive illicit material, weed control, mechanical methods, mulching, terminal weed control. Plant protection, protection of resistant, tolerant varieties, crop rotation, habitats of beneficial organisms, use of positive list. Rules to be followed in the case of animal husbandry, which is also checked during inspection. The origin of the animals, conversion of their livestock or purchase from an organic farm. Accommodation of animals, space per square meter, provision of runoff and or grazing, exercise of their behaviors. Animal nutrition, organic feed, conversion feed may be slightly conventional for pigs, poultry. Veterinary treatments, diseases prevention measures, good quality feed, free movement. Greenhouses, core production practices. Greenhouses and foil tents are reasonable for. It's best to build greenhouses for seedlings and warm demanding plants. The fall houses have the cycles. Early spring planting of cold-tolerant plants in the greenhouse. The pepper, tomato and cucumber cultivation begins when the spring seedling season is over. Important things to do during seedlings cultivation. It is very important that the seedlings should be grown in separate room away from everything. The most important thing is to keep the underdeveloped plants closed, as they can catch diseases very easily. If you follow the above, you may have problems. Even seedlings slanting caused by fungus, sludge in the soil, and mites or flower can occur. Heating with alternative energy sources. Biogas. Biogas is a gas mixture formed during the decomposition of organic matter by microbes under anaerobic conditions. Contains about 45 to 70% methane, 30 to 55% carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, and ammonia, and other residual gases. Due to its high energy content, about 50 to 60% methane, it can be used for energy production. The energy content of biogas can be deduced from the methane content. At 60% methane content, 1 cubic meter of biogas corresponds to 0.6 liter of fuel oil. Thermal heating. The establishment of thermal wells is very expensive and still expensive to operate. There are also territorial constraints, as it's only available in certain regions. Costs are also increased by the fact that the thermal water is considered end-of-life wastewater, so that corresponding fees have to be paid. This can be avoided by setting up back wells to feed water back into the soil. This method does not reduce groundwater level either. Szentes and its surroundings are the best known thermal water springs in Hungary, which is why there are more than 26 such wells in the city. Most of them heat the greenhouses. Installation. It is important to place the foil tent or greenhouses where its longitudinal axis is from south to south. Another important thing is that we can ventilate 30% of the abyssal air. Ventilation requires constant attention and supervision, as possible windstorm can get inside the tent and damage it. So in this case it should be closed immediately, but as soon as the storm leaves, the tent can get wet, which favors fungal diseases. Seedbed making. Composted soil, natural peat and dry beef manure are the basis for seedling cultivation. Seeding requires the use of mature peat and compost mixed with sand to prevent bacterial diseases. Seedling cultivation, nutrient supply. Before planting, it is advisable to add nutrient-rich soil mixture to the seedlings to allow the microorganisms to settle on the roots and nourish the plants. In addition, agents that are authorized for organic cultivation may also be used. In addition, it is worthwhile to use herbs as a solution because they can also contribute to crop growth. The green part of the plant can be grown with nettle, while the black seaweed solution can be used to focus on crop production. In addition to conditioners and herbs, bees are also have an important role to play as they pollinate. It is possible to determine exactly how many bees are needed in a given area, so we will definitely buy the right amount of hives. Pest control. It is worth buying and protecting predatory mites and bugs. If this is not enough, then rectified sprays should be applied, but it is just patchy where the aphid attacks. After the intervention, the plant stock should be continuously monitored. Another solution may be a chemical control. This can be done with the special agent, copper or sulfur spray. Copper and sulfur are effective against fungal infection, good against seedling wilt. Variety screening. It is important to be resistant no matter whether it is old or new. What is important, however, is it utilize the indigenous varieties with hybrids that are well suited to soil conditions and thus provide powerful and high yielding stocks. It is important to listen and consider the experiences of others as well as the opinions of customers. Mechanization, labor. Greenhouses cultivation can be very mechanized, can be used machines for irrigation, spraying, nutrient supplies, and the temperature and humidity can be controlled by an automatician. Sometimes in extreme case, they can control the sunlight with different machines. However, only larger companies can afford this. Smaller companies, family business with seasonal work to make up for the lack of machines in the spring and the summer. Irrigation. Irrigation is done with a humidifier or drip system, as these are the most water efficient solutions. In the case of seedling cultivation, it is still possible to irrigate with a can and the latter. After planting, it is impossible to handle it manually due to large area, so the use of irrigation equipment is essential. When irrigating, it is worth paying attention to the way it is done, as there is a lot that can be done to improve or possibly reduce the quality of the soil. The best solution is drip irrigation, as it does not impair the quality of the soil at all. With surface watering, we can easily slush the soil and cause the plants to rot out. Ventilation is very important in irrigation, because if the plant stays humid, fungal diseases will multiply. At night, the greenhouses should always be dehumidified. All in all, organic greenhouses cultivation does not cost that much. Lots of sprays and other associated costs can be saved, benefits machinery purchase, maintenance, labor. However, predators cost a lot, as do bumblebees. This is probably the biggest cost when no chemicals control is needed. Plants, on the other hand, are subject too much to less stress, which results in higher yields and can significantly increase income. Half a kilo of crop growth may be achieved with organic production per square meter.
The project Green Skills Platform for Sustainable Employment Development is implemented under the Interreg 5A Romania-Hungary program and is financed by the European Union through the European Regional Development Fund, Romania and Hungary.